Signed in August 1st, 1950, the Organic Act was enacted by Congress in response to the Guam congressional walkout in March 5th, 1949. Mr. Carlos Taitano via telegraph to Honolulu relays the news to the world. The New York Times reported Guam Assembly quits on March 6 and Congress walkout on March 7. So, what is the Organic Act?
The Organic Act of Guam just deals with the agriculture of Guam.
The Organic Act of Guam deals with farming and farmers.
The Organic Act was signed in 1950 after Guam was liberated in World War II, and it's the document that allowed Chamorros to become U.S. citizens, and it also established Guam as a U.S. territory.
What events led to the drafting and signing of the Organic Act?
That's a really very good question because at the time, like I said, when my father and other members was a larger house, they had 2 houses as well, but they were just advisory bodies. They were not law-making bodies or policy-making bodies because Guam at that time, prior to the Organic Act, was under naval rule. That means there would be a naval governor. And when these House of Assembly, the members of the House of Assembly tried to pass legislation to impose taxes on some businesses that are being established here in Guam so that they can help build their economy, especially after the war. Because one of the biggest area that was taken by the military, which we at that time was called the commercial port, which is Sumai Village in Santa Rita, Naga Santa Rita. And that was a booming village, but because after the war, the military took over. So no longer then did the people have that opportunity again to build its economy. So this was one of the things to do. Well, one of the businessmen didn't want to comply with that and knew what they were planning to do, went to the naval governor to report this, and they called my father was one of the members into the governor's office, the naval governor, and basically told him to report back to the House of Assembly that no, these businessmen would not be subjected to paying any taxes, local taxes. And when he reported back to the body, of course, they had this discussion, and they were going to then have a demonstration. And their demonstration was that they had this walkout, and that happened on March 6, 1949. And Mr. Taitano was also a member, had a really good friend who was a news media person in the United States, wrote about it, and it made the news. It hit Congress, of course, and I hate to say, but it's really the thought, because we were foreign nationals then, that they didn't want this uproar. It was, of course, not going to look good for the United States, having Guam as its territory. So they decided that they quickly needed to do something, and they passed an Organic Act. And the Organic Act, of course, would then allow, by the Organic Act, meaning an act of Congress, every citizen who was living in Guam at that time then were going to became a U.S. citizen. So that's how then the Organic Act, came about.
Prompted by the walkout from the Guam Congress and the desire of our people here to be recognized, and so I think first and foremost that's what it was, a desire for our people here to really be recognized and have the relationship we have with the U.S. government put into this document.
What you really need to look historically, of course, what has happened to Guam. Guam has always been administered by different governments. We had the Spanish government, with Japanese government, and then we have of course the military, and now of course the U.S. But never really has Guam ever been truly given, the people of Guam given an opportunity to decide for themselves how they wanted to be, governed. It was always imposed on us, and that is the big, of course, the $1 million question as to, when that could happen, if it could happen.